All right, all right. Thanks for those joining me live, and to those joining me on archive. This is not a boxing video, obviously. Will not be discussing boxing. However, I will be discussing a little bit of, one of my favorite shows called Game of Thrones. I love this show. Um, to this day, I believe season 5 is probably the worst season. Season 6, but it picked up. But season 7, so far, so good. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on. Okay, a lot of stuff. So right now, we're currently looking at a map there. I'm sure you could see it, right? Of Westeros, right? First, let's talk about the last episode. Okay, now episode 1. It kind of, it was Danny coming back home. Just to recap episode 1 really quick. Danny was back home. She found her home. For the first time, she was a little baby, and she obviously doesn't remember that. Arrived to Dragonstone, and it was like a big deal, right? They made it seem like, oh my god, like it took like 5 minutes of nothing but hyped up music and traumatic music and like, oh my god, we're Dragonstone, which was great, right? Um, which there's a reason I'm saying it that way, but then there's a lot of stuff, man. So they arrived to Dragonstone, um, Khaleesi and all them. You had Sam over there clean up a bunch of shit. He's been studying to be a maester or whatever, doing his thing over there. You got Cersei, trying to figure out, and Jamie as well, trying to figure out what they're going to do, what type of allies they're going to bring along, etc. You have just other issues altogether, man. You got up in the north, Jon Snow is trying to rally everybody, um, trying to convince everybody that the great houses have to stay. He's not going to punish the remaining Karstarks for their betrayal, and gets I think the main purpose of that, to see the conflict between Sansa and Jon Snow, right? And Sansa constantly interrupting him, constantly, even afterwards talks to him, hey, stop trying to do the quote unquote right thing and noble thing and start doing the smart thing. Jon Snow throws some jabs at her, who should I listen to, you? Look how you ended up, right? And look where I'm at. So uh, just silent conflict there, and Littlefinger, still lurking around. Obviously, if you notice, every time there's some form of conflict, or every single time an important word or sentence is just said by Jon Snow or Sansa, and they're around people, around the court, they always show Littlefinger, like always, just lurking and listening, and just obviously plotting, getting ideas in his head. I fucking hate Littlefinger, right? But that's basically, for the most part. Obviously, the King of the Iron Islands, trying to get with Cersei and offering her his armada, the Great Fleet. She declines, but he says, "I'll be back with a gift." And that's basically season 1. I'm sorry, episode 1. Episode 2. What I'm starting to notice is that they're moving along with a lot of stuff, and they're moving along quick. You know, um, they're moving along pretty quick. A lot of stuff is happening, and it's happening very fast. But by the way, Sir Mormont, he came out in season 2 as well, right? Song with all that grayscale. Forgot to mention that. So he was ordered by the by the by Daenerys to go and find a cure, this and third, and he's obviously there trying to get one. Um, if you look at this episode 2, they're still speeding through a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like they want to get to the point already. Um, it seems like when season, aside from Ira, But when season 6 ended, like everybody was finally where they're supposed to be, right? Bran is about to reach the wall, and even Ira, right? She had already gotten away from Essos and from the Faceless Men. Um, Sansa finally, since the day her father was beheaded, stuck with Joffrey, and then you know then being smuggled over with Littlefinger, and then over here with Ramsay, and it just finally, she's free from all that. She's with her brother now, and Jon Snow, he's alive now, and he's in Winterfell. He's a king of the North. Finally, the Starks get wins, and finally the Starks get some W's, and everything seems to be in order. Dany's on her way to Westeros, and like everything that's been building up, it's finally like in order. But now everything's starting to get disorganized all over again, right? Daenerys is, wanting Jon Snow because what's her name? The red woman. She showed up and she's telling Dany all about Jon Snow and about the prince that was promised. And is it her? Is it him? She doesn't know. She just knows that they're both going to play a vital part. And so here we go. Jon Snow is on his way to Dragonstone, right? All the way to Dragonstone. And Dragonstone, right, if we look at the map here really quick. Dragonstone is right here, right? That's Dragonstone. Let's do this here. So Dany's right here, right? She has her allies, okay? She has Dorne as her allies. And then as far as down here, and from the Reach, okay, not everyone from the Reach, and we kind of saw that right now, but she has the main house of the Reach, okay? And this is King's Landing. This is where Cersei is, right? But as you can see, Cersei is trying to do a power play right now, trying to convince noblemen in the Reach to align with her. Because over here in Dragonstone and over here in Dorne, they have aligned themselves with the Dothraki horde that are from over here from Essos, who are known as savage men, and telling them, hey, they're going to rape your women, they're going to do this, they're going to do that, And right now, Cersei doesn't have a lot of allies, okay? If close this shit out. She obviously, the North is not with her, right? Right. The hell's that? I don't want that. There we go. Okay, the Veil right now, okay, Littlefinger has control of that, okay? These are the fingers, by the way, right? But the Eyrie, this is controlled by Littlefinger, right? The North, Jon Snow, right? The Iron Islands, okay, the uncle is fighting his niece and nephew, right, for that, okay? If we look at Cersei really only has, this is what she has. She has this part right here. This is what she has control over, right? That's pretty much it. Okay, the twins, right? The Freys are gone. Okay, they're gone. So the access to this is going to be won by the North, especially with the Vale being controlled, at least at the moment, by Littlefinger, right? Down here, down south, obviously, as we know, that she has issues with Dorne. So things are not looking very good for Cersei, right? I mean, she's trapped here. Okay, but there's going to be a power play going on, right? So what happened in the episode at the very end, the king of the Iron Islands over here, right? He and it would have been right here. It looks to me like Danny's plan, right? If we try to make sense of her plan here, okay? This is King's Landing. She wanted to surround Cersei, so she has no, connection here. Let's say the Gold Road, which goes to Casterly Rock, this will be blocked off, right? The King's Road would be blocked off. The Rose Road would be blocked off, right? So the Reach will block this. This will be blocked off. This part blocked off. So everything will be blocked off, and obviously, with Daenerys controlling Dragonstone, this will be blocked off, right? So all this will be blocked off. Cersei's left surrounded. That was the plan, right? And then the other plan was, we'll go ahead and let's see. Let's pick a good color here. All right, playing around with this shit. The plan was to invade Casterly Rock, and if she controlled this and even Lannisport, there's really no reason, right? Like there's nothing Cersei can do, right? No one, like the North ain't gonna bring her food. The Reach isn't gonna bring her food. Dorne isn't gonna bring her food. Nobody in Essel's gonna bring her food. Okay, she's got no allies. So the plan was to surround her. Her soldiers will have no food. Casterly Rock would be invaded, right? They would take the Lannisters' main hold, and at that point, she would have no choice but to surrender to Daenerys. And the plan is by Tyrion is, okay, well, we don't want to, kill anybody. Like Tyrion wants to win a war without killing. He wants to win a war without, people dying, and you don't want to be the queen of the ashes, and you want to be the queen of happy people, and this, that, and the third. But this plan has already been eradicated, right? So first of all, okay, you could say goodbye to the fleet that at least from the Iron Islands that she had, because the king of the Iron Islands, the uncle of Theon, already took care of that. That's been destroyed, right? He's also captured, and was probably going to give it as a gift to Cersei. He's already captured, the, I guess she's a queen of Dorne now, I guess, right? Whatever her name is, I forgot her name, but and I believe one of her daughters is still alive. I don't know if he let the niece live or not, right? But he's probably going to capture her too. Okay, so that they've taken a big hit there. So this original plan is going to have to be scrapped, right? And if you saw the previews, it looks like they're going to go directly to King's Landing, right? So I guess, right, if we look at it here, the most effective way, although there'll be a lot of killing involved, right, would be for them to go from Dragonstone directly to King's Landing, okay, in Blackwater Bay, and just invade, right? They just literally invade it, right? Burn it down with dragons, like, boom, dragon fire, whatever, and do what you got to do, right? I think that's what they're going for. That's going to be the plan. I don't think they're going to go for Casterly Rock anymore, right? And however, Cersei has a good ally now, okay, with a grand fleet, which is it's just interesting how how did he create such a great fleet, but they got to make it interesting somehow. They obviously have weapons on how to kill the dragons, but it'll be very underwhelming if the dragons are killed by freaking arrows, right? Or that whatever that thing is, it'll be very underwhelming. Nobody wants to see that. Okay. All right, let me get something here really quick. Why is this shit taking forever? Apologize. All right, guys. I just got the chat up. I apologize. But anyway, I do believe EJ just put that the dragons will burn the ships. You know, that's what they should do. Um, but I guess I don't know what type of weapons they're going to have in these ships. But I do know that the fleet can't be too far. I don't know where they were going. I don't know if they were going down to Dorne. I don't know if I really don't know where they were going, to be honest. But if because this is where Danny is, so I don't know if they were going down this way, right? I don't even know who controls the Stormlands. Does anybody know who has control of the Stormlands? Because the last known Baratheon, even though we all know he was a bastard son, was Tommen, right? I mean, he committed suicide, right? And they didn't have control of that army anyway. So I don't even know what happened with that. Like it's did they all die with Stannis and or something? I don't know. It's that's interesting to know what happened there. But my only thing is, all right, if this is a big if Danny invades King's Landing, right? Yeah, she got that big bow. Yeah. Let's say she takes over King's Landing, right? Like she's got a big. Like here's the dilemma. She's got a big city, and then what does she do? Like what? Then what? You know, because she's already talking about Jon Snow bending the knee and this, that, and the third, right? Then what? I mean, well, what does she do from there? You know? So she's allies with the Reach already and with Dorne, but I don't know what's going to happen with Dorne now, right? Because the woman that killed their king is now captured. There's going to be some politics there. I just know there is. And so who knows? The Dornish may join, okay, Cersei. Okay, you never know. But what happens here? I mean, what is she going to start a war with the North if Jon Snow doesn't agree to be a warden and just says, "No, I'm going to be king of the North"? But, you know, what is she going to do at that point? Is she going to start a war? So, I am thinking. I honestly believe that Daenerys Targaryen, right, and they're already foreshadowing it now, right? You see, she's gone from being a very shy girl to being a confident woman, and she's growing and she's learning and all that. But one thing I've kind of gotten with her is that, and they've slowly started to shift, is while she does have love for people, and it's not her first, reaction to burn shit down. If you piss her off, she will. You know, she's already talked about burning cities to the ground and armies and all that. So the Queen of Thorns, or I believe that's her name, okay? That old woman already told her, "You're a dragon, be a dragon," right? If Daenerys has what her father had, right, the Mad King, she at any moment, like something could trigger and she could lose her mind, right? Now she's already gone through a lot of trauma and stuff like that, but I have a feeling like at least either towards the end of season 7 or at the beginning of season 8, she's going to be a villain. I think she's going to be a villain. I think she's going to be a bad guy, right? I think she's already been told, don't listen to noble men. It's foreshadowing a lot of stuff. She's not. She'll stop. It's the advice Tyrion is giving her is really not good advice, right? That's terrible advice. Okay, like you cannot. It's impossible to just win this war without killing, given the circumstances, right? They're not just gonna bow down and just let her take over. And just like anything, even if she comes in and just takes over, it's kind of like in real life, right? Like when the U.S. took over Iraq, they took over quick, but then holding it, sustaining it, became a problem. You know what I mean? It's like, look how she struggled to sustain and hold on to, you know, Slaver's Bay. She had a very difficult time, and that was far more, you know, less political than it is in Westeros. And they don't have sophisticated armies and tactics like they do in Westeros, right? So there's going to be some major problems here. Okay, a lot of people scheming to kill, a lot of people just turning against her. It's bound to happen, right? It's not like she's not going to show up and then everybody's going to bend the knee and then that's it, and then there's peace. Like that's a very naive way to approach anything. The smart thing to have done, right, from the very jump, from the start, okay, from the very start, she should have just invaded. When she had that fleet, when they told her we should invade now, that's when she should have done it, right? When Cersei still hasn't been able to look right now, Cersei can't even get noblemen to agree to join her yet. They're unsure right now, right? If she would have just invaded with that fleet, with the dragons, yes, people would have died and all that, but it would have been over. She would have taken over King's Landing, and then there's other problems there. But now, she's lost a lot of the fleet, and she's in, she's got problems. Now I want to talk about Theon. All right, let's talk about Theon for a little bit. Theon Greyjoy. I mean, what's up with Theon, man? Like, what the fuck was that? It's this dude, all right, has a sharp object to your sister's neck. Sister, by the way, that, tried to save your life multiple times, right? And you jump off this ship, dude. Like, what? I mean, good luck, Theon, ever getting any respect from anybody ever. Like, at that point, Theon Greyjoy is not a good look, man. It's not a good look. I mean, you jumped off the ship, man, right? Now, I don't know if there's another reason or a twist there that they put, but I kind of saw it coming. They foreshadow everything in the show, right? Everything. When his sister and that Dornish queen or whatever were playing around, and she was telling her, like, oh, who is he? Oh, he's my protector, and he's there to make sure I'm safe, blah, 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 blah. I kind of knew at that point that maybe I didn't know it was going to happen right away, but I knew at some point that was going to be tested. And surely enough, 5 minutes later, that happened, right? It doesn't make sense. I mean, he was fighting, he was, in the midst of fighting people and all that. And then his uncle called him a dickless coward, and he shut down, and he didn't know what to do, and he just jumped off the ship. Maybe he was scared of being captured. Maybe he was scared of being tortured. I don't know what it is. Then fight to the death then. You know what I mean? At that point. Do what the Blackfish did. He just fought till they killed him. I believe they killed him. I don't think they captured him. What happened to the Blackfish anyway? Is he dead or was he captured? I thought he died, but somebody told me he was captured, so I don't even know. Right? Yeah, Theon made a business decision. High risk, low reward. I mean, what's funny is that you could die anyway in sea, right? I mean, if he's in the middle of the sea, he could die anyway. Like, I don't, of hunger or drowning or like, it's, a shark could eat you. Who fucking knows? But it's crazy to me that he just jumped off, and, that's that, man. Okay. Grey Worm, that was a bizarre scene, man. It was just bizarre. It was, it was just very, very bizarre. I don't, Like, good for him, but it was just a bizarre thing, But this is actually, I read this. This is the first, according to what I read. I'm trying to think though; it doesn't sound right, but um, this is the first consensual sex scene in Game of Thrones since 2013, is what I read. I mean, everything else, rape. That's all they've been showing. It's, and I'm trying to think, is that even true? Like, it seems like every other episode they had sex scenes for the first few seasons, and now, it's with Grey Worm, Oh, Grey Worm better got some skills down there, man. You better, you gotta overcompensate for what you're missing. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? I guess that's what they were getting at, But it is what it is. He'll. Well, let me tell you why it was bizarre. It wasn't the sex scene. Okay, it's not that. It's not that he doesn't have a dick or whatever. What was bizarre, okay, is when he said, like, it just didn't make sense. Like, he's talking about kids when they were little. Oh, I wasn't scared of nothing, But little kids, they were scared of drowning, or they were scared of this. They were scared of dogs, of wolves, of this and that, of heights, but. Like, he's like, but you are my fear. I don't know. I guess what he's trying to say is that he never feared death till now, because he loves somebody and he doesn't want to leave them behind or something happened to them. They could have just done a better job with that. It just, to me, that's what I think. I don't know what you guys think, but that's, in my opinion, they could have done a better job. Right? Where's Theon going to end up is what I'm wondering. Right? Where the hell is Theon Greyjoy going to end up? Because he's not going to be accepted. I don't think he's. I mean, what would happen if Theon ends up over there in the north? I have no idea. Right? After the way he betrayed the Starks, even though he did help Sansa, but did that really make up for it? It's kind of one of those things. Knowing Jon Snow, he'll probably forgive him. Like, who fucking knows? Davos. Oh, by the way, when it was like the reason I was talking earlier, like, oh my, they make this big deal about Dragonstone and her being in her home. That was the original seat of the of the Targaryens. That was their original home. Before after the fall of Valyria, anyway. And just one episode later, because it's storming outside, she's Daenerys Stormborn, and she started talking about how the place sucks. Oh, this place sucks, and they even had freaking Tyrion, like, he's like, oh, don't worry, we won't be here long. She's like, good. Like, it's just like, just an episode ago, you made it seem like this majestic place, and she was happy to be home. Like, it's just, just, isn't that weird? Okay, it's just weird. It's one of those weird things. By the way, EJ, I think next week, man. Next week we should start doing the collab. I think we should start doing collabs for these Game of Thrones. Those are fun. All right, recaps. Let's see. It's 8 in there. Apparently, Josh, a couple things happen here. Samuel Tardy says, we're talking about the Tardys. Tardys played a big role in this episode. Samuel Tarly is doing his thing over there. And he's breaking a lot of rules, man. If he gets caught doing any of this, he'll get kicked out, I don't know that if he'll face any penalties or whatnot, but he'll get kicked out at the very least. But he's doing it for a good cause, right? He's trying to figure out how to kill the White Walkers. He's trying to figure out, now trying to help Jeremy Mormont and how to cure grayscale. So it seems to me it's pretty obvious he's going to help, Jeremy Mormont with that. By the way, I mean I don't know what is it with the Samuel Tardy scenes where everything just looks gross. And last week, I don't want to see something like that ever again, right? I don't want to see bowls of shit on it and like this. Come on, are you kidding me? Um, but yeah, it's that was kind of gross when it's removing the grayscale, but they wanted to show the effects of it and all that, so fair enough. Okay. It looks like he's going to cure him by the looks of it. All right. Jorah Mormont's going to be released after that, so I'm sure he's going to end up with. Is he going to get back with? Because here's the thing: he's going to be back with Daenerys more than likely. Jon Snow's going to be there. I don't know how long, but Mormont was from the north, and he's banished from Westeros for trading slaves or something like that, right? So I don't know if that's going to be relevant. I don't know if Jon Snow's even going to care, right? But I don't know how that's going to play out. Also, another conflict, Davos is going to go with Jon Snow to Dragonstone, and that's where the Red Woman is. It's like, okay, that's where the Red Woman is. Fair enough. Okay, that's going to cause drama. And a lot of things are going to happen. Okay, now before we talk about that, let's backtrack. Let's backtrack a little bit. Okay. Right now, okay. So it's going to be interesting how fast Jon Snow gets there, by the way. But like nothing feels like a trip anymore. Like they're on horseback, by the way, right? Just to give you an idea, like it's just to give you an idea here, right? Look at what Winterfell is, right? And you got to go all the way down here for Dragonstone. This is where Dragonstone is. That's according to the writer of the book. This is the size of like South America, right? Like it's they don't make it seem like. I remember when Robert the King in the first season went to Winterfell. It was like a long trip, and it took him like 3-4 episodes just to reach King's Landing, right? But they kind of they fast forward through everything nowadays, which is fine. But that's what they do, all right? So a lot of stuff. So first of all, Sam Tarly found out that Dragonstone is filled with dragon glass, right? Which, by the way, wasn't Davos like living in Dragonstone? Wouldn't he have known that? Like, I don't know why I get a feeling he should have known that. Like if I was the writers of the series, I would have just been like Davos tell Jon Snow, like, hey, yeah, there is dragon glass there, like. But anyway, they had Samuel Tarly do all this research and find out that they have dragon glass in Dragonstone, right? So he wants to go there for that reason, and he's also been summoned, okay, by Daenerys to go, right? And Daenerys did say he's going to bend the knee. Tyrion left that out in the message, okay? He left that part out. Now, I'm sure it's going to work out in the end, probably, who knows, but a lot of stuff is happening here. Jon Snow, like every time a Stark leaves, like Winterfell, what happens? Like chaos, like horrible stuff happens. You know what I mean? Like it's never any good. Like every time, like when his grandfather and his uncle went to King's Landing, they got burned by the Mad King, right? When his dad, Ned Stark, went to, and I understand that he's not really the dad, but just for perspective, when his dad went to King's Landing, he got beheaded. When Robb left the North, he got stabbed at his own wedding, okay, or at the wedding of his nephew or whatever, right, or his uncle, whatever it was. It's never good. Like nothing good. Look at what happens to Sansa when she left the North. Like it's never a good thing, right? So Jon Snow leaving, like he's got to know, like this isn't good. Like nothing good could come out of this. Now, maybe since he's not really a Stark, maybe that bad luck won't follow. But it's like chaos ensues. So it's very understandable why the people in the North are like, why the fuck are you gonna go over there? You don't know this woman, and then her Hand of the Queen is a freaking Lannister. Like, are you shitting me? Okay, look at what the Lannisters did to your family. They don't know Tyrion personally. Like, they don't know him like that, like Jon Snow did. And Jon Snow only knew him like for a day or two, right? So, in my opinion, right, this is a bad move by Jon Snow, but he feels that he has to do it because he wants. First of all, he wants the dragon glass, right? And he also has Davos told him, hey, fire kills them, right? Fire kills the dead. And what does Danny have? 3 fucking dragons, so he's going to go out there and I guess try and convince Daenerys Targaryen that there's White Walkers out there, controlling the dead, and that the army of the dead is coming. And I'm gonna need to mine dragon glass, and I'm not gonna bend the knee. And I also, by the way, I need one of your dragons. I mean, it's gonna be a tall task. And then while they're there, Davos, obviously hates the Red Woman for what she did to the little girl, right, burning her alive. She's there, and he's not in a position to control anything, so there's going to be drama there. There's going to be some conflict there. Like, well, why are you associating yourself with somebody like that? And that's going to start some crazy shit, right? Who knows what's going to happen? Now, Dany, if you remember, when she saw little kids, basically crucified, she crucified all the noblemen of Savers Bay for that. So who knows what she'll do to the Red Woman once she finds out what she did. Okay, who fucking knows? But we'll see. That's going to be interesting. I don't like the fact that Sansa's constantly questioning Jon Snow in front of everybody. Like, that's kind of, that's not cool. Like, she could pull him aside and in private tell him how she feels. But to be questioning him in front of everybody and put him in the spot like that, first of all, forces him to look strong and make a decisive decision in front of everybody. Like, I'm going to do this and that's final, right? Let him say what he's got to say and then pull him aside later and just tell him what do you feel, right? Because now every decision he's making is final. Like, it's freaking insane. So he left Sansa in charge of the North, right? Because she's the only Stark. I wouldn't be shocked if Littlefinger, in some way, shape, or form, has everyone discovered that Jon Snow is really a Targaryen, right? And that's going to have some conflict in the North. And I don't know if Sansa, something tells me there's going to be a power struggle for the North between Sansa, the real Stark, right, or the eldest that's still alive, and Jon Snow. There's going to be some conflicts there. It's going to be interesting how that plays off. I do wonder if Jon Snow will run into what's the little Stark girl's name again? I forgot it. Ira, right? I wonder if she's going to run into Ira. I'm not sure. Maybe, maybe she'll run into her. Jon Snow, I mean, they're not. I guess it depends how he's going to go to Dragonstone. I think he said on the show, but I forgot. So I wonder if that will happen, and will she go with him or not? I have no idea. Right? So a lot of stuff, and even like, if you remember, like every time they say something significant, they always show Littlefinger, right? Every single time. Like when he said, I'm going to leave you in charge. You're the only living Stark, blah, 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 or something like that, right? What did Littlefinger do? He just gave a little, like, he just has that, like, sneaky, asshole kind of like what Littlefinger does, right? Like he's up to no good and shit. I liked how Jon Snow, just grabbed him by the neck and started choking him. Told me, if you ever touch my sister, I'll kill you myself, right? But I just know that, Littlefinger's up to something, right? He's up to something. For all we know, he could be plotting with Cersei, for all we know, right? I don't know how trustworthy Littlefinger is. Littlefinger wants power, okay? And it obviously he's not content with the having control of, of the area and the Vale. He wants more than that. Okay, like this dude wants power, and I even think he wants to be the king of Westeros. So it's going to be interesting what he does here, what power play he does, and I'm just waiting for some stuff to go down. Right, those were the significant things that happened. Obviously, Tarly, the father of Samuel Tarly, good general, showed up to King's Landing because he was summoned by the Queen. And King Jaime, Cersei made her case, hey, are you going to let these, foreigners come in and just take over the country? That's rocky? It's like, are you serious, right? So it's something, it's something to look at. You got to look at the significance of that, right? Now, let's put it this way. Okay, like let's look back at Europe, right? Like if you go all the way to Europe, let's say like when France, or not even France. Let's backtrack. England, right? When England, well, actually, yeah. Let's say there's England, France, and Spain, and they're all going to war with one another, right? For whatever reason, there's conflicts going on, and then someone literally shows up that's not even from any of those countries, right? Like somewhere from Asia or something, with like Asian armies to invade. Like, of course you're going to be like, well, I mean, yeah, I don't like France, but I don't know if I want you guys like to take over. Like, that's kind of what it's like. It's this is why a lot of people, they're torn. Like they're like, well, she does have 3 dragons. This is how the 7 kingdoms were conquered before, right? But at the same time, I don't trust those Dothraki hordes. We don't know anything about these Unsullied soldiers. It's very scary to people. Understandably so. The Dothraki are known for doing some brutal shit. That they don't understand that Dany's got like full control of them and stuff like that. So it's going to be like you have to wonder where they're going to end up. Like where are the Dothraki going to end up? There's really nowhere you can really put them. Like people live everywhere, and you got to feed these armies. Like they got to eat. It makes you wonder. Like that is a lot of people, and when you include the Unsullied, I mean that's just weight. That's a lot of people they got to eat. That's a lot of people you got to feed. That's a lot of people you got to house. A lot of people you got to conform to this new society that they're not used to. And that is to me the biggest problem Daenerys Targaryen's got. That's the biggest issue she's got. And are they going to give them land? Like, what exactly is going to happen? It's going to be interesting how that plays out. Like, she has the army to win the war, but she doesn't have like really anything to sustain a peaceful society like she thinks she does. So it's going to be interesting how that plays out. Littlefinger is good for the game before, but not anymore. Somebody put. Sam Dad is a fool. Well, the thing is, EJ, I don't know what side he's going to fight in, to be honest with you. I have no idea what side Tart is going to fight in. Tart is a smart man. He's a smart general, right? So he's going to, pick his, side very, very wisely. Very wisely. But I think for the sake of the show that they're going to make him side with Cersei to make stuff interesting, But they say they have their own home, not that the Dothraki. Like, where are they going to live? They're not going to send them back to Essos. So sort of, where are they going? Like it's like, who knows where they're going? You know what I mean? So they put Littlefinger's playing the game the best. Littlefinger has some stuff planned out, man. Littlefinger really, really does. A lot of stuff planned out. Littlefinger knows what he's doing. not in a good way. I mean, to this day, the only person really that really knows, like, here's the thing: Cersei knows Littlefinger is the one that put the knife to the neck of Ned Stark. He's the one that did that. He's the one that betrayed him. If Littlefinger never betrayed Ned Stark and the Gold Cloaks, sided with him, we wouldn't even have a series right now. Okay? The Starks would still be alive. Sansa doesn't know that. I think Jon Snow maybe suspects he's up to no good, but he doesn't know that. They don't know that. None of them do. Well, Jay, you're saying they're going to have to go back, but it's. Do you really think that they're going to go fight a war and then just to go back home, and go back to they should have just stayed home anyway? Why would they go fight a war or conquer something and then go back home? There's going to be a lot of conflicts here. Maybe she does send them back home. Maybe she'll give them a leader, a new cowl or something, and tell them, okay, go back home now. But as of right now, that's not the plan. They have not thought this out. No, they haven't thought this out at all. I feel like Bran on the Hound will tell Sansa about Littlefinger betraying Ned Stark. Bran can definitely tell her. Bran's not that far, I guess. He's at Castle Black. Here's the thing, though. The show is very inconsistent. Like, right now, look at where Castle Black is, right? Castle Black's up here, right? It's Castle Black. Winterfell's right here. So this is the distance, okay, that they got to go. Like, that's not that far of a distance. You know what I mean? It's not the farthest distance. Okay. Jon Snow is going to go from Winterfell on horseback, by the way, right? He's going to go from Winterfell up here, right, all the way, like way down here to Dragonstone, right? Where Dragonstone is. Dragonstone's a ways to go, right? So the way I see it, all right, if they have Jon Snow show up to Dragonstone, chill there a few days, and Bran is still on his way to to Winterfell, there's a problem. He's supposed to arrive first to Winterfell before Jon Snow gets to Dragonstone, logically. Unless Bran is staying at Castle Black for a while, Aside from that, but if he's traveling, that's important. That's why I had an issue like in season 5 where, Littlefinger was all over. Like, Littlefinger went from King's Landing all the way to Winterfell, all the way to, back down to like freaking the Reach, and then he went all the way back to the Vale, and then back to to King's Landing, and then back to Winterfell, and it was just like, they really do, like, you've been everywhere, like, all day, every day, bro. Like, the fuck out of here. Doesn't make sense, right? But anyway, those were the main stuff, man. That's the main shit that happened in the show. Everything else is just kind of side notes, really. It's gonna be interesting what happens to George Mormont, and we're gonna see. It's gonna get interesting. But that's all I got, man. Right? Shout out to all you guys, man. Shout out to EJ, and that's it. I'm out. Peace.